Welcome to Let's Talk Literature. I'm Em.
And I'm Will.
And we're two book lovers who wanted to combine our passions for reading and gossiping and share it with the world.
Whether you're looking for a new book to pick up or a new book friend, you come to the right place.
So grab a coffee
or a little wine and let's talk literature.
I have a red drink.
Oh, is it the same red drink?
No, it's not. Mine's hibiscus iced tea that I brewed.
Okay, fuck off.
Cheers.
Mine is always divine. Now, guys, I'm going to keep it real. One, new location. This probably won't be my permanent location. Because I don't know. Okay. Number two, I spilled my entire other first drink on the floor before recording. So if I'm looking a little like I just spilled my first drink.
I also have a warning. I will be using a large paper again today.
I feel like it's fitting. It's fitting.
I have maybe 100. No, that's not 100 words. I have maybe like 70 words on this page.
Hey, and you know what? Get your monocle out and let's read, okay?
Yeah, let's read.
I should have followed the vibe. I should have brought my scroll as well. Like, I don't know why I didn't.
What if we printed out, like, scrolls? Who said that? Who was that?
I saw the vision. I saw where you were going. It just didn't make any sense.
It made absolutely no sense.
We're going to move on. Oh, my week. Oh, do you actually want to ask?
Kind
because the whole episode could just be about that.
Okay.
Oh, guys, I feel like this is a very cyclical thing. I'm having an epiphany that I need to change my life. So like on a real note, let's be so for real right now. I am about a month and a half post move.
Yes.
Drink every time Will talks about his move. Drink. No, I am 45 days post-move. I'm also 6 months into my new job. So there's been a lot of reflection this week, and I realized that, one, I feel like I haven't grown as a person or as a professional in the 6 months I've been at my job. So it really gave me like an existential crisis of what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
And that permeated. KUANG is rubbing off on me, okay?
Okay,
permeated into my personal life because I feel as though I've been making excuses to do nothing. And I've been like, it's not that I've been doing nothing. I've been running here and there. I've been trying to do new recipes and stuff, but overall I've been pretty stagnant. So this all came to a head yesterday. And when I tell you what good timing to have a therapy session yesterday.
Oh, love when that happens.
Yeah, like the world, the universe, my therapist knew that it was time.
Yeah.
Did I schedule that appointment weeks ago? Yes, but like the universe did know.
The universe made you do that, so.
No, 100%. And it's funny because I scheduled it sooner than I usually would. So it's like, I kind of knew. You kind of know. But yeah, I just realized like I've recognized some bad habits that I need to get out of, and
the cooking, right?
Learned, it's really horrible. It's actually so bad. But I realized that to replace those bad habits, I have to replace them with better ones. So you know what I did? I scheduled a hot yoga class for yesterday.
Hands off the wheel, everybody.
Hands off the wheel. Guys, I'm fixed. I'm free. Actually changed my life. It's like that epiphany of you leave a yoga class and you're like, why have I not done this in so long?
Like, you feel spiritual.
It just made me feel so right when I've been feeling so
wrong.
God. Right? Like, God.
Well, I'm really happy that you had that.
I'm feeling God in this Chili's tonight. Like that's just tonight. It's just where we're at. So how about you?
I just want to say thank you for sharing that with us. And
No,
I'm sure a
like,
lot of people are in the same boat and feeling the same way. So it is definitely nice that you share that so that people can feel seen and heard.
for sure. For
And
sure.
like we're relatable because we are literally just like two people who are like a mess, like literally a mess. Like these episodes look put together and nice, but like we talk about it like we're a mess.
Guys, we're a mess.
Like a mess, absolutely. But I also do want to say before we get into this episode, I kind of want to start this off. I know we don't have like a huge following or anything like that. But I do want to make our stances a little bit clear, so that you guys know what you're signing up for and you can make your own decision whether or not that's something you want to stick for. We don't support the current administration. We voted against the current administration. We support illegal immigrants. We support women's rights, gay rights, people of color.
Everyone's rights. Like,
yeah, and we try our best to help that bleed into our reading and podcasting and stuff like that. So we do our best to highlight authors that support the same things we do, and that goes for today's book club, which is KATABASIS by R.F. Kuang. Why was I about to say Yellowface? But I just wanted to start that off just to let you guys know who you're listening to.
exactly.
Because reading is political.
It is, and this is also a safe space. We were just actually before this episode, Em and I were just talking. Just, we usually have like a little chit chat before we record. And I don't know, like it's been, I don't know, like 5-ish years since I never officially came out, but just like since I've been more myself and more my authentic self. And I feel as though I want that to be my authenticity. I want to be shown in my creative outlets. And I feel as though me and Em are we think the same and we support the same things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this works so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that we took a moment to let that be known.
Yeah. I felt like with everything going on in the world, in politics, right now, I just want to make it very clear where we stand. And that's all.
Yes.
Anyways, back to me. My week was pretty good. This was my first week not working down the shore, and it was so awesome. I loved not having to work on a weekend. I felt like the richest person alive to have a weekend off. Like I felt like bougie. Like I just had a great time. I went to the Pocono Mountains for the weekend.
Love it.
Yeah, I went Friday through Sunday, and then we left Monday morning for my boyfriend's like birthday and our anniversary. I just booked like a little cabin, and it was so nice. It made me realize that I could live in the mountains with like no neighbors and no people around and be content. I love the quiet. I read my Kindle in the hot tub in the morning with a cup of coffee, and it was literally like heaven.
God.
Like it was
the picture
heaven.
The picture you sent of your Kindle next to the fire with your feet kicked up with your coffee and on the deck with the woods in the background was just.
I fed a deer. Like I got to feed deer. Like the deer there were really friendly. Like it was just a great weekend. And I think it really helped me kind of with that like transition from summer to fall. And like now I felt like I needed that weekend to like rest and relax and like do literally nothing. Like when I tell you I didn't do anything, the only time I left that house was to go grocery shopping. I did nothing. I didn't hike, nothing. And it was fantastic. And now I feel like ready to be home and like get back into working mode, but like in the fall. And I consider like the fall and winter to be like hibernation seasons for me. So like
100%.
I'm ready to like slow down, work, and figure out a routine for myself. And that also goes with my reading, which has gotten a little bit better. This book
love that
has helped it, I think. We'll talk about that. But I did just finish the book, KATABASIS. I did see her in an interview say that she had it originally pronounced as KATABASIS, and she learned that the correct pronunciation is KATABASIS. So she has...
That's the correct one?
She said the correct... This is R.F. Kuang saying it. She said the correct pronunciation that she learned was katabasis. But she always, in her head, while, like, crafting it, was saying katabasis. Yeah, katabasis. So I do think it's valid if we call it katabasis. I'm going to call it whatever comes out of my mouth because now I'm really confused.
What is up with R.F. Kuang and titling her books things that are, like, people don't know how to pronounce? Like, is it Babel or Babel? She said the same
thing with Babel. She was like, people in the UK are more, like, they're more likely to say Babel. And then the US is more likely to say Babel, I think.
I say Babel.
I say Babel,
like, I didn't know. But, like, it is Babe L. So I don't know why I say Babel. I've been saying katabasis the whole time. I think that is, like...
No, you've been saying katabasis.
I've been saying... Oh, my God. No, I haven't. Wait.
Yeah, katabasis? You've been saying katabasis. See, that's what I'm saying. Now now we don't even know.
Wait.
You've been saying katabasis.
Which one's correct? They both sound the same to me right now.
Katabasis.
Wait, what? No, I thought I...
We've been saying katabasis.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Katabasis.
Is right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've been saying katabasis. Did I just say I thought I said katabasis?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I actually... this wasn't...
Maybe I misheard because my brain feels like...
No. I misspoke. Right I misspoke.
It was a faux pas.
It was a faux pas. I love that word.
Me too. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Faux pas.
Well, whatever the hell the book's pronounced.
You used it perfectly. You used that faux pas is like perfect right
use of the word, right? Yeah. So we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna talk about September Book Club, which was Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. This is her newest release. It is an adult fantasy / somewhat of a romance, but I would consider it just fantasy, dark academia.
Agreed.
With romance elements in it for sure. Somebody I saw online trying to call it romantasy, and I was like, I'm going to stop you right there.
Whoa.
Because no, it's not romantasy. Anyways.
I went ahead and bought the, what is this called? Sprayed edges version.
Gorge.
So nice. I will tell you that when I first bought it, when I walked into the parking lot, I kind of immediately regretted it because I was like, do I even like the sprayed edges?
Can you bring that a bit closer? I'm not sure I'm seeing on me. It.
Yeah, well, I'll show the camera. And then the top and the bottom here.
I actually didn't purchase the book. I've been reading it on my Kindle. I think.
Did you purchase it on your Kindle, or did you get it through Libby?
No, I got it through Libby.
Oh.
I know. I had it. So I'm through, like, my library card is through, like, our hometown's library.
Yeah.
So it's, like, tinier. They don't have, like, a lot of copies of things, whatever. So I looked up the book, like, probably 2 weeks. No, like a week before I wanted to start reading it, and I was like, fuck, like, I should have requested this a long time ago. I'm going to need to buy it. So I searched it up, and it wasn't in the library. Like, they didn't even have a copy of it yet. So I was like, okay, notify me when we have it.
Yeah.
So I turned on the notifications, and I was like, I'll just try my best to, like, be aware of my Libby notifications for the next few days, and hopefully it pops up. If it doesn't, in, like, 2 days, I'll just buy it. It popped up that night and said, like, your library acquired a copy of a book you're looking for or something. I clicked on it so fast, and it literally just said borrow, like, not hold. I was like, no, like, I was the first person in our town to read it. It was so cool. I have to tell you, it was a really cool feeling. I've never done that before.
You know what? I think that God is in this Chili's tonight because...
Amen.
What divine timing is that? What is that?
It was really weird, and honestly, I felt like the luckiest girl ever.
That's so fitting for a book about hell, you know? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
It is. But yeah, I read it on my Kindle, so I didn't have a physical copy. Would you like to start us off with just the description?
I would love to. I'll read it from the book because I have the book. I adore this book, like the cover of it. Yeah. It's going to look so cool on my shelf. I'm so happy I bought it. Here we go, guys. Alice Law has only ever had one goal: to become one of the brightest minds in the field of magic. Throwback to when I said magic. She has sacrificed everything to make that a reality: her pride, her health, her love life, and most definitely her sanity. All to work with Professor Jacob Grimes at Cambridge, the greatest magician in the world. That is until he dies in a magical accident that could possibly be her fault. Grimes is now in hell, and she's going in after him, because his recommendation is the key to her future, and he could hold her dreams in his now incorporeal hands. Unfortunately, her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come with the very same Unfortunately, her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come to the very same conclusion. With nothing but the records of Orpheus and Dante to guide them, bundles of chalk to draw pentagrams necessary for their spells, and the burning desire to make all the academic trauma mean anything, they set off across hell to save a man they don't even like. But hell is not like the storybooks say. Magic isn't always the answer, and there's something in Alice and Peter's past that could forge them into the perfect allies, or lead to their doom.
That's a great description.
Very good description.
Very good
very,
description.
Very good.
I guess let's start off with, like, what did you expect going in?
I was expecting this book to really have those dark academia vibes. Like, the cover itself, I feel as though really draws you in if you are a dark academia lover, a dark academia genre lover. I love dark academia. I was expecting this to be one of the more darker books I've read. The book surrounding hell, the book is surrounding going into hell. I also expected this book to be very intelligent and very dense in prose. That was my expectation. And I also had never read any other book by R.F. Kuang besides Yellowface. So this was my first jump into her fantasy genre. I loved Yellowface. I thought Yellowface was spectacular. Yeah. I loved the writing style. I loved the book. I know it's very divisive as a book, but sitting here telling you, I loved it. So I had really good expectations going into this book. It was also highly anticipated, so I had very high expectations, I would say. How about you?
Same. So I had read Yellowface and The Poppy War. The Poppy War I really liked. I read that 2 years ago, I want to say, which is a fantasy. And then Yellowface I loved. I think I liked Yellowface a little bit more than The Poppy War. Going into this, I think I was mostly like, what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. I was mostly intimidated by it. Like, I was nervous it was going to be, because I haven't read Babel either, and from what I hear, Babel is like very academic focused, and it's a lot. Like, it's a lot to understand, and it's very like research oriented. So I guess I was kind of like intimidated by that, especially because I'm coming out of like somewhat of like a reading slump summer. Like, I have not been that great with my reading this summer. So I was intimidated by it, which kind of, I guess, gave me a little bit of like hesitation going into it, but I was excited. I like dark academia vibes. I love stories that involve like hell and all of the stories and like mythology surrounding that. So I was excited. But yeah, that's how I went into it for the most part. So kind of the same thing. I think just a little bit more like weary of it.
I also want to add too that I am, because you saying you were intimidated, I have been so intimidated by long books. Mm-hmm. I always put off reading longer books, and this being a book club book forced me to have to read a longer book.
Yeah.
Which I think in the end was a very good thing, because it showed that I, one, can do it, two, can do it in a timely manner, and three, if the book is good, the page count shouldn't matter. And that's what I learned with this book.
That's a great point. I agree. Yeah. I'm happy it was long, because it proved, okay, I can read long.
Right.
I don't need to just do these quick books anymore.
Exactly. Because I have been pushing off, like, I've been pushing off Babel for so long, because it's such a long book.
Yeah.
That I feel as though now that I read this, and we'll get into how I felt and Em felt about it in just a minute, that it's not as intimidating anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, because I always thought like, oh, I could have read 2 books by the time I was finished 1, and I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Like,
what's the point?
What's the point? Like, if you want to read a book, you're going to read a book no matter how long it is or how short it is, you know? So
It
kinda
shifts your
shifted.
perspective on like, why am I reading? Am I reading to check it off, or am I reading to like
Yep.
read a story?
Yep. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yes, I did.
Right out
I
of
cut
my
you
mouth.
off completely.
No, you did not. You did not. I welcomed it, okay?
Okay,
I
thanks.
welcomed it. All right, so I'm going to say probably from this point forward, if you have not read
Yes.
KATABASIS by R.F. Kuang, we are probably going to dive into some spoilers. So you've been warned. This is your chance to stop now, go read, and come back. But if you just want to know, we're not going to dive into like heavy plot summary. It's really
No.
just going to be a discussion of the book. So if you haven't read it, you might be confused from here.
Yes, you will be.
So we're just going to have a good conversation, a free-flowing conversation. So we're not here to analyze the text. There's so much in this book that can be analyzed, and I think we'd be here for hours if we tried to.
We'd be here for hours, and also like, I don't feel anywhere near smart enough to sit here
Agreed.
and share my.
Whoa, lightning.
Did you just see that?
I did.
Nice. So we're kind of just going to be talking about, I guess, like what worked, what didn't work, what we wish, what we loved, stuff like that. Yeah, because I know that this is kind of like a very divisive book, and it's,
Yeah.
I feel like anything R.F. Kuang puts out is always very like hot or cold with people. So yeah, we're just sharing our opinions. Everything here is just our opinion. Let's get into it. So.
And for fun, and it's fun, okay?
It is.
We're here for
It's
fun.
Just two besties talking about a book.
2 bros chilling
Sitting
in a hot tub.
5 feet apart because they're not
'Cause
gay.
they're- Let's start with how we felt. Okay, expectations versus reality.
Okay.
What did we end up feeling about this book?
Great question. So, on the Dark Academia side of things, I loved the way that R.F. Kuang is able to write and explain settings of Dark Academia. I really liked the way that she made hell itself feel. I liked the way that she made the campus feel. I will say the further details of Dark Academia, a little bit more of like the secrets and the lies and deceit that happen in like Dark Academia novels. I felt like obviously we do get a chapter about that, but I would have liked some more of that dispersed throughout rather than having to wait towards like 75-ish% to get some of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you get that chapter reveal where you learn about what happened with Alice and Professor Grimes, it's obviously, that's a sad chapter, but I was like, I kind of wish we got a little bit more of like the background on the student, the like campus vibe, I guess is the word I'm looking for throughout the book.
Because they were very much like, they would just sprinkle in there other students that they had worked with, that like never really had any backing to them. They were just kind of there as like plot devices and like a way to almost strengthen Alice's and Peter's and Professor Grimes's characters.
Yeah.
They weren't there to serve as anything else.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest, because you're right. Dark Academia is very much about secrets, lies, deceit, all in like an academic setting, which this had plenty.
Yeah.
Definitely had plenty. It's just, I understand what you're saying about that, like, you know,
it just felt like
the school feel, you know, it was,
the setting felt there, but like the actual like actions of Dark Academia, it felt like I was like really waiting for that to happen, and it did, but I just wish it would have been like spread out a little bit more. What else were my expectations? I think going into it, how I said like I was very intimidated by the writing. I thought the writing was good, not my taste though, if that makes sense.
Okay. Why?
I think that some of it just felt a little bit clunky and a little bit too, for me personally, I didn't love the structure of the way that she wrote the story. Um, I think that I would have enjoyed it a little bit better if we had gotten a little less fact and a little more like creativity. If like, I'm not trying to like bash her because I think she is absolutely a genius and she's a fantastic writer. I just think that the like research aspect of the story shone through a little bit more than like the fiction part of it, if that makes any sense.
Okay. No, it does. That
like
does.
I kind of would have wanted like a little bit more like a wow factor and like crazy things happening in hell, whereas it kind of felt like everything was just exactly what they kind of expected aside from like little details.
Yeah, that's fair. Did you like the story structure though? How we were thrown into it and we basically saw Peter and Alice go into hell, and then it kind of cut back and forth between the past and the present, the past and the present. Did you like that aspect of it?
I did like that. I really did like,
Okay.
and like the first chapter I loved. Like I loved that we were thrown right into it. Like I was hooked immediately. I think that when you start off with that much momentum though, I get like hesitant on whether or not it's going to be able to keep my attention, and we talked about that too while we were reading. Like this started off so powerful. I hope it lasts throughout the book. And for me, I think that like I kind of lost that momentum a little bit, because I think the like back and forth way that she was writing wasn't done as like powerful, I guess, as it could have been. Like for me, it felt like a lot of build up for a little action.
So, can I add my 2 cents?
Please do.
I think I disagree with you.
Okay. Tell me.
And here's why. I think that the structure of going back and forth allowed us to do a couple of things. One, you start the book with these characters, right? There's an intrigue with Professor Grimes. You paint your own image and how you think these characters are going to be just based off of your own perception. It's only later revealed in these flashbacks of who these people really are, which provided a lot of nuance to their character, but also showed a pretty linear growth of at least Alice, because she starts as one person and ends as a completely different person.
Yeah.
And you can see how her changes through each layer of hell is supported through how she used to think and then what she's doing now in each layer. I took it as that. I also saw the jumping back and forth as a means of like disorientation, and we were almost spiraling down a descent into hell as she is losing the layers of who she once was and becoming who is basically who she becomes by the end of the book.
I love that.
And we're spiraling with her.
Yeah.
Like she's now kind of like forced to confront who she thinks she is.
Yeah.
And not like, and she basically is confronted with, you have to become who you are. And I think with each layer, she slowly peels back the real Alice and why she's there. We didn't know what her motive was. She lied to us in the beginning.
Yeah.
She lied. We did not know why she was going to hell. And she told us. But through her actions, we then learned why she's actually there. Same with Peter. Same with Professor Grimes. I could tell you could look back into the chapter by chapter discussions with the book club. I was like, I need to know more about Professor Grimes. There is so much intrigue around him. He turned out to be the grimiest man on the face of the earth.
There's nothing special about him.
Nothing special at all. So I think the structure of how she wrote the story, people can look at it as clunky or like scattered, but I think it was purposeful because it never allowed you to sit with anything too long, that you had to kind of adapt as you go and be like, okay, I'm picking up the puzzle pieces of these characters, and by the end you fully understand their motives of what they're doing. And I thought that was like a very interesting way of doing it, because I think if she told it chronologically, the impact is gone.
Yeah.
I think we got impact because she decided to reveal these details scattered throughout the book. It was almost like how, you know how I always say that Lisa Jewell, though I love the way that she reveals detail, because it's like, it's in a through line.
So
it's
subtle.
In one, it's so subtle. It's in one line. And I feel as though Kuang did this in a grander sense of like,
you're right.
She spent a whole chapter diving back in time, basically going through the psyche of either if it was Alice or Peter or what. And I would always end up being like, holy shit, that's why they did that. Or, oh my God, that's why she decided to do it this way. Or then you start to like understand your characters more, and you understand why Alice always tried to defend Grimes, or why Peter acted that way towards Alice. Like, I feel as though if you're told those up front, those details up front, you don't have a story. Because this story at its core is about Alice and Peter and their revelation of what is truly meaningful to them. And it's funny because one of the things I also said in the chapter discussions was like, when Peter and Alice finally like reveal to each other what they actually mean to each other, I was like, wow, it really took them going to hell to actually communicate. So I feel like, I think that Kuang's writing style was purposeful through and through. And I think it really made everything that much more impactful.
Thank you for thank you for that, because I actually completely see the like what you're explaining, and the way that you explained how like she did it on purpose, the subtlety, and that way you can sit with only a certain part of Alice, and then it switches, and then you learn something else, and then I get it. And I think that is fantastic skills. Like, I think that is fantastic on R.F. Kuang's part. I think the question here is, did I like it though? No, I don't think I liked it. I just don't think I liked it.
That's valid.
You know what I mean? Like, I recognize that takes a very skilled writer to be able to do that. And I think maybe if I had like picked up on that the way you had, maybe I would have liked it better. But in the moment, I think that I was just a little bit like too drawn away for too long from who Alice and Peter were. Like, I think my biggest thing was it might have just taken a little bit too long for me to learn more about them. So I got to a point where it felt like a drag almost to get to the parts to learn more. Not to say that when I got to those parts I wasn't like completely like hooked and interested, because I was. Like, when I got to like crazy chapters, I was in there. Like, when you learn more about like why Alice is the way she is and why Peter was doing this, and all of it comes together, like, I was so intrigued. I think I loved parts of it, but not the whole of it. I didn't love. I did like it. Like, I really did like this book. Yeah. I just wasn't super entertained by it, if that makes sense.
Would you say that you were more so impressed by it than entertained?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I was so, like, the whole time I was reading, I was thinking, like, how much work that this must have taken to write. Like, I have the utmost respect for her, thinking about, like, I listened to an interview of her saying that she sent her first draft to her literary agent, and her agent double majored in English and math, and her husband is a math professor, and they were like, you need a little bit more math, like, in the logics of the magic system. So she said that they actually like tutored her. Like, they would do FaceTime calls with her and tutor her on math and like geometry and hyperbolic geometry and all that stuff that we learn about in the book, but like that we don't really know. She had to learn it in order to like write about a character that knew it really well, Peter, and a character that didn't know it really well, which was Alice. And I think like that is such a show of like a great author. Like she was so dedicated to this, like she learned this and like was able to present it in a way that wasn't like impossible to understand.
Yeah.
You know?
But I feel like she really did that, you know? Like she made such a, like, thinking back on this book, I'm like, holy shit. This was so complex, right? Like so complex. And I think that while I do think that she did show off at times of like, look at this research that I did, you know?
Yeah.
Like you could, like, she really dove into the logic. And the magic system here, was I a major fan of it? Maybe not, but I really appreciated it. I appreciated how much she took the time to, like, first of all, maybe I did like it because I haven't heard of anyone else do this.
Like in a magic system?
In a magic system,
yeah.
Right? But the bounds of the magic system, I feel like needed to be fleshed out a little more. Agreed. Because I think we went through the story. I mean, were we reading this from Alice's perspective? Basically, more than not. She, like you said, was not. She was more in the. I don't even know. Peter was the more mathematics guy, the maths guy. So like we were kind of learning things with her, but you almost went into this book with the assumption that like you as the reader just need to buy into the magic system because R.F. Kuang was only going to explain it enough for you to grasp it, but to not really make you understand it. You know?
Yes, enough to like let it be a part of the story without hindering your understanding of like the whole.
Right. You just had to accept it at face value for what it was when you didn't really understand it. But that still interested me. And like, I think that like, do you read a book and you're like, ooh, the author did this, like this was purposeful, but then like it could just be like a plot hole in the story.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you make an excuse for an author because you either really respect them or you respect their work or you like the work that you're like, oh,
maybe
that was purposeful.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm going to sit here and say like maybe it was purposeful that we weren't supposed to get the full gist of the magic system because we ourselves are not a part of the magic system. Is that a cop-out?
No, I think that's I don't feel that way, but I think that that's a valid way to look at it. I just kind of feel like she definitely like could have made maybe another draft because we didn't really like get a whole lot into the magic. Like I felt like that's a note that I wrote down. Like I felt like the only like history lesson we got with the magic kind of came with like the crypt keys and like how they came about, and we learned a little bit more about like the origin of magic like in today's society through that. But I still find myself like even now I'm like I don't really understand like how magic was used like in the general public. Like could anybody do it? Like what did they use it for? Like it felt very much like it just existed in the bubble of the story. So I think it kind of took me out of it a little bit.
I actually completely agree with you because there were some points throughout the book where I was like, because they would throw in like random like real world things, and I think it was to remind you that like this is set in
a real world,
a real world adjacent to ours. But I agree. I think I couldn't picture actually like outside of the classroom or hell them actually performing any type of magic.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So that is, I think, where I can agree with you that it wasn't fully developed. But I think there's certain aspects to it that it's supposed to be left kind of ambiguous because we are never going to understand that. But again, I feel like maybe I'm making an excuse.
No, and I think it also comes down to what you're looking for in the book. Like, I think if you went into this expecting, like, high fantasy where it's, like, extreme world building. You get to learn the history of like the place where like who's in power and how they came into power and every way the magic works, and like they have to go through like all the challenges to get like it touches on that, but it's more so a book about like the growth of the characters and the world that they live in and how that like foils them, like how that affects them and turns them into who they are. So I think that this book isn't super reliant on like the fantasy aspects, whereas I think that worked for you because I think you might have gone into it, and I think as a reader in general, I think you take better like you let me restart that sentence. I think you do a better job with picking up on like the character growth and the character arcs as a whole than I do. So I think that it makes sense that this book resonated more with like your taste. Whereas when I went into this, I think I was wanting maybe more so fantasy, if that makes sense.
That's completely
like, not
valid.
to say I didn't want character growth. We both know like we love a good character growth. That's what the story is about, the characters. But I think in the balance of the genre.
But also, like, do you typically go into fantasy looking for a character-driven story, or do you usually look for that in other genres? Like, I feel like maybe is your taste to go into fantasy more so for the world building of it all and like the magic system and just like being a part of the world.
Yeah,
rather than
I think
like,
so.
I think that's why
that's where we differ. I think
that's where I'm perceiving that I think I enjoyed this book a little more than you did, and I think it's because it's aligning more with my taste. In
I think so
books.
too. I think so too, because in no way did I dislike this book. Like I thought it was a great book. It just wasn't like exactly what I was looking for. So I wouldn't really like, I didn't love it the whole time, but it was great. Now, like I think you're right. I think and you know what else? I also have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig waiting in my Libby, and I kept seeing it every time I clicked on my Kindle, and I kept thinking, I'm really in the mood for Rachel Gillig's writing, because like she's so good at like magic systems and like the world building. So I think that might have done like a little number on my thoughts.
Your thoughts. Now, how would you compare like this story as a fantasy novel to The Poppy War as a fantasy novel?
See, that's an interesting question, because The Poppy War was fantastic with characters, like absolutely fantastic from the start to the end of book one. It's insane how the character changes and grows, but the world building and like the actual story and like the magic system of it is just as developed, I thought.
So then I might see maybe R.F. Kuang is an author for me and maybe not as much for you.
I even have this written down like in my notes. Like I think it just goes to show like the differing, like what we were expecting out of it maybe. Like I wrote down, I think she is a fantastic writer, but I don't know if she's my favorite storyteller. And I think that that's just exactly how I feel like about the book. Like I think her writing was fantastic, and like the tactics that she used to tell the story were fantastic. I just don't know if it was the story that I was looking for.
And that's completely valid, because you know this about me, I'm not a big fantasy reader either. I don't know what it is that like things don't grab me in the fantasy world. But of the fantasy books that I've read, I feel like I've gravitated towards ones that are very character driven.
Yeah.
Like this is a very character driven novel. I think like I'm trying to think of any fan. Like I wasn't a huge fan of ACOTAR. I think that's just popcorn fantasy at this point.
Yeah.
I like T.J.
like a
Klune's
gateway
work.
drug.
Exactly. I like T.J. Klune's work, which is cozy fantasy, but both books that I've read by him are character driven. So I feel like I feel like I can read any genre, but I really need the focus to be on a character's journey of some type of discovery, whether it's self-discovery, whether it's, I don't know. I feel like that's
I
kind
agree,
of where
and I
I'm
do think that's super
looking
important.
at.
But with fantasy, I think that I get so excited by like the fantasy elements that I like want more, and I think that that's like bottom line for me with this book. Like I liked it, but I wanted more of like the creativity of like what hell was like. I will say, on a good note, I have a really hard time like picturing things when I read. I don't know if I have whatever it's called, where you don't like.
Oh yeah, what is that? Synesthesia? Is it synesthesia?
Isn't that when you see colors?
Colors for words.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
I
yeah,
don't.
there's a spectrum of people being able to like visualize something. Like if you think of an apple, you can see an apple.
Can you see Can you see it?
No, I can't. But
Okay,
like,
because me neither.
but
Like,
I can picture what an apple is.
yes, me too. But
But
like, I don't
but
actually see one. And like, in the diagrams of like figuring out if you have it, it's like levels of like how you picture it. And I'm like, I don't see any. Like, I'm just imagining it, but I don't actually see anything.
I don't think I see anything either.
Okay, that
But
makes
like,
me feel a bit better.
But like, if you actually,
Like, I see blackness, but like, I'm
I
able
s-
to
like
imagine it slightly.
I can see a shape. Like
Yeah,
but
me
maybe
too.
that's
A
just
shape, like an
but,
outline.
like an outline. An
Like
apple.
maybe, yeah. I can kind of see an outline of an apple, but like, can I see like a glistening red apple?
No.
No.
But like it's weird because I can tell
I know what it looks like. Though.
like right now I'm picturing an apple on a teacher's desk and I can
And
see
it's
a
like
red
shining,
apple.
and I
I
see it.
but I don't see it. I can just
Okay, then maybe I don't have it because maybe that's just like the general idea. Anyways, my point of saying that, sorry, I completely threw us off on a tangent, was I usually have a hard time picturing like grand settings, and it takes me like a really long time to like picture it. And I think she did a really good job of describing their surroundings. And that seemed like an incredibly hard setting to explain, and she did a really good job.
I completely agree. And I just to piggyback off of the Apple thing, while I read this, I think it's great that this book has not been adapted yet. Like it's brand new. So there's nothing for us to like completely tie a visual to. Like say when they were in whatever layer of hell, Pride, and like just how she described it. I never associated it with like, oh, I remember that from the movie or the show,
Yeah.
Which I think this is being made into a show, which makes sense.
Really?
I think this would be better as a good mini series rather than a movie.
Yeah.
But I could picture the different levels of hell, and I could probably describe it to you. Like the scene where she went to the Dis,
Yes.
the city.
Yes.
And she went and saw the roots person.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I could picture that very well.
I could picture that.
Yeah.
Or like I honestly pictured how she said that the marble of the stone was perfect.
Yeah.
I could picture that. Like
it's those little details. She does a fantastic job at like helping you to picture something that you've probably never pictured before.
No. And so
like with the suit of armor that she made, like I could picture exactly. Was I disgusted? Yeah, I was disgusted, but I could picture it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but I think we're similar in how we visualize, because I think this is gonna sound so stupid, guys, and I'm so sorry, but like we think in terms of like we don't see it, but we can describe it. And like we can think this is gonna sound, guys, please just stick with me. Don't click off. Don't click off.
Stick with us.
we think with thought. We think and visualize with thought. Like I'm sitting here and thinking about the root scene and I can see it, but there's nothing in front of me.
But I can't see, like I can't actually see it. I just can like piece up the details.
Yes.
Another example. Like words.
Words. It's another thing. I can picture, okay, this is going back. One Golden Summer, the little cabin that Alice stayed in.
Yes.
Can picture it.
perfectly.
The lake and the boat can picture it. Charlie
but ask
coming
me
up
to
on
like
the
draw
boat
it.
can picture it.
Could never.
No, can't
But I
do
can
that.
just imagine. Like I just have a.
Like the house across the lake with Riley Sager. I can picture everything in that book. Everything to a T. I pictured everything to a T. So I think I can picture it. I just would not be able to tell you.
And you know what else? This has nothing to do with the story, but when I don't picture things really that often, but when maybe I do actually, but when people say their names, or if I say a name, I see the name spelled out.
Oh, I do that too.
Like if I say Will, I'm picturing Will.
I get that. Okay. I get that.
All right. Anyways, back to the story.
Yeah, sorry for that little tangent, but I completely understand you because I can see what I'm visualizing. I just would never be able to replicate it to you.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Precisely. Like at the end, which I do want to talk about the end real quick, and then I'll probably wrap it up. But at the end, I could picture her talking to both Professor Grimes and what did she call him? Lord Yama. What did she call him?
I think it's Lord Yama.
King Yama. Okay. So at the end, I could picture her talking to King Yama and like offering up the plant and talking to Professor Grimes, like when he appears and his like actual being is like not really fleshed out. Like you can't, that's like how I picture things, like the way they described him, like how it's like like kind of like not sharp edges or anything. Like that's kind of like how I'm picturing it. But I really liked the way that she wrote that last scene. I will say, I think that the complexity of the book didn't match the complexity of the ending. I think I wanted something a little bit more grand, a little bit more shocking to happen. But I was very satisfied with the character arc that happened. I was really happy with the decisions Alice made, the realizations she came to, and how she like wrapped everything up. I want it a little bit more.
I agree with you. But as I was collecting my thoughts and my notes for this episode, I kind of had an epiphany.
Okay.
Hear me out. This kind of like ties back to making excuses for an author that you respect.
We'll let it happen. Go ahead.
But hear me out, okay? This whole book, we're on this journey with Alice, right? Peter tags along, and her whole purpose in the beginning is to bring back Professor Grimes, right? We're on the same page. She goes through this complex journey, right? She studied her ass off day and night, in order for her to get into hell, right? Then R.F. Kuang is taking us through. She's telling us all the logic. It's so complex, right? This huge journey, this roller coaster of a journey through trials, tribulations, everything, adversity. Alice goes through so much, and we learn so much about her character, right? And I said this to you on my initial thoughts, and I said, I need to sleep on this. But I said, I loved about 85% of the book. The buildup was impeccable, and I loved every minute of it. And then I thought that the ending fell flat, which I agreed that it was too simple for such a complex story. But then I thought about it. Maybe that's the point. Now hear me out.
I think so too. Go ahead.
Hear me out. The point of the story ending in such a simple way completely aligns with Alice's realization in the book. And that is, and you've also agreed with this, and I'm taking what you said, which was that her and Peter realized that none of this matters and that they just need to live their life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Like, they should choose a full life over this entire bullshit that they just went through.
Yeah.
And there's so much nuance to this story. There's so much nuance. I love nuance in stories, right? That's a huge gripe when I'm like, this was so simple, this was so stupid, this was so plain. Yeah. I need nuance. It's my middle name when it comes to reading. I saw the ending as being so simplistic, and then I thought about it, and I think it directly aligns with the trajectory of Alice's character.
I agree with you. I think
and I
it's
think
fitting.
it actually it fits. It actually fits. Was it like, would I have liked a more grand, like, I don't know, like confrontation with Professor Grimes and Alice? Yes. Did I think that the Kripke was the climax? The fight with the Kripkes, was that the climax of the story? I do think it was, because it overshadowed Professor Grimes.
It did.
But
there you go.
We realized that Professor Grimes was a useless piece of shit.
It does all feel intentional. So I'm like, I love that for her, and I love that she was able to do that and create this. I just don't know if I liked it.
I know, and that is so valid. Like, you are so valid to feel that way.
Like, I liked it. I don't know if I really enjoyed it to the full extent.
That's so fair. That is so completely fair.
Thanks.
I just think, like, after sleeping on it and sitting on it,
I definitely feel better about it after this conversation. Like, I definitely think my rating's up rather than stagnant or down.
Cool. Yeah, because at first I was like, I wish there was like a gotcha moment. Like, because I said to Em, I was like, I felt like the rug was going to be pulled out from under me, and like, either Alice and Peter were dead the whole time and none of this mattered, or I know one of the people in our book club had the theory that this was all just a test from Professor Grimes for Peter and Alice. I was expecting like some type of twist like that, and when it came down to it, and it just ended the way that you basically thought it was going to end, it made sense. It actually
it made sense in the way that, like, life typically isn't like the twists and turns. Typically it all is just kind of the mundane.
It really is. And I want to end my discussion portion of our episode today with it's the end of a review on Goodreads that I think perfectly sums up this book for me.
Okay.
Perfectly. It's from Rowan from Goodreads. It's one of the top reviews for KATABASIS, so you should probably go check this out. KATABASIS, in my view, after finishing, is not about the journey to hell, but more about what hell reveals, and how we carry that revelation back with us. It doesn't offer closure. It is not a fable or a myth with a moral conclusion. It is a mediation on memory, loss, and how we mythologize the people we've loved, especially when we've never fully understood them, even after years being with them. The real achievement in here lies in R.F. Kuang's refusal to dramatize grief. She gives us a story where almost nothing happens and yet everything shifts. It is not about death, but about what the living does with what's left behind. And more than that, it's about what happens when we're finally forced to admit that what we've been searching for may never have existed at all. There is no heroism here, only descent.
Rowan, I would read anything that you write.
Yeah, that was it. It's a very well put review, and it's completely true. I feel like this is another situation where I said this to Em before. I felt like I was going to be like my review for I Who Have Never Known Men, because I wasn't going to be able to articulate like what I wanted to get across of how I felt.
You were able to articulate it.
And I feel like I articulated it, and I feel like the end of her review here really sums it up for me. It's like, it wasn't about what you wanted to receive from this journey. It was just about the journey and what you were able to take from it forward, which is just a very basic through line of the story.
It is really, when you think about it. Like, it really is. And I really honestly wish I went into it expecting, or like, honestly, I just wish I went into it with like less of a craving for like a high intensity shock value kind of like fantasy, dark academia. Like, I was looking for something like a little bit juicy and like crazy, and that's not what you got. But I love that she was able to create like such a deep story. Like, she was really able to create something incredible.
This came from someone's mind,
and
a lot of hard work, a lot of hard research. But this came from her mind, and that's why books are so amazing to me. They continuously impress me with what people are capable of, and what people
like, how do
just
you think of that, like,
how
crazy.
it just honestly makes me more motivated to want to tell my own story one day, of just like, everyone has a story to tell, right? And you could tell your story in whatever way you want to. And we were taken on a journey through hell, and by the end, it made you reflect on what you should take from the journey of what you've gone through, or the hell that you've gone through. And really, there's just so many takeaways from this book that it's really tough for me, because I want to give this a 5-star rating for me, but I don't think I can, because there's something in me that's not wanting to give it 5 stars.
You're like right there.
I'm right there. I think I'm gonna put it at a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think this discussion actually made me like this book even more than before we talked today. I don't know. I just feel like this was just the effort was. This was proof of all the effort that she put into this book, and I think I'm gonna read her entire work. Like, I'm gonna read Babel by the end of the year, and I wouldn't be opposed to starting the Poppy War as well. I'm just very impressed with her work. I really am, and yeah, I'm happy that this was picked for the book club. And it also made me realize, going back to the beginning of the episode, that like, don't be intimidated by a long book, because there's a reason. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
It's this
long.
There's a reason.
Well, thank you for that. That was beautiful. And thank you for all of your fantastic points, because they honestly helped me to realize what I was kind of not realizing with this book. I think going into this episode, I was at a 3.5 rating. I think for Goodreads purposes, I will be giving it a 4. Fable, since you can do like 0.5 I'm going to do 3.75. I think my true rating is a 3.75. I liked it at the level of a 3.5. My respect for it is like at like a 4.75.
Okay, that's
so we're shooting for like a 4. Like, I think we're going to stick with a 4. I don't want her reviews to go down because I think it was really good. I do think she deserves good reviews. It just wasn't like for me right now.
That's completely fine.
You know?
That's completely fine. But
I'm just loved this conversation.
Me too. I really did enjoy this conversation. I also, I read a lot of this book at once, and it never felt overload for me, which is kind of crazy with it's pretty dense. So I really must have loved this for me to just I read in one day 296 pages of this book. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole book in another, that could be a whole other one book, you know?
Yep. Me too. And I think that might have been another reason why I didn't love it, because I was kind of rushing to read it. And I think that kind of messes with me sometimes. But overall, I enjoyed it. Didn't love it. I respect the art of the story, and I think it was a fantastic feat to write this book. So.
Yeah. All respect to R.F. Kuang. Yes. I think I can say that I really, really, really liked this book. Borderline loved it.
I would love to hear what you guys thought of this, so be sure to leave your thoughts if you've read it either in the comments or over in the Fable Book Club. There's a section down at the bottom where you can rate and leave your review. So you can check out a formal review from both of us on there, hopefully by the time this episode's up. Yeah. We'll see.
To get a written review on this, to get a written review of everything we just talked about is going to be tough. So give us some time. Everything. Give us some time.
Give us some time. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. Next week, we will be back with an episode of our September wrap-up, which is ridiculous.
Crazy.
Make sure you're joining our book club over on Fable so you can be a part of next month's. We will talk more about what we're thinking for book club next episode. It should be spooky Halloween.
I'm feeling
vibes.
horror.
Yeah,
I want a horror book.
I want to scare myself. So if you
Like,
have any recommendations, leave it in the comments.
Like, guys, I want to shit myself. Okay.
I want to shit myself.
I want to shit myself.
I want to.
Oh, snaps for the Crohn's recognition in the book.
We didn't even talk about that. Oh my god, I totally forgot. That
recognition.
did leave a special piece for me. I can't believe that I didn't remember to discuss this. That's actually insane. I think I was so caught up in our conversation. I loved that. There was some Crohn's disease representation in the book. I think that she did a fantastic job at explaining the like effects of it, and like also explaining the fact that it's like an invisible disease. Like, people don't like realize how like much it affects the body, and I think she did such a good job at writing that, and it brought a tear to my eyes to read
I actually felt emotional reading it because of you. Like, it was just like, damn, that got to me. So
yeah, it was definitely like emotional to read it, but I was very happy to read that because I have never read a book with a character having that, so I was really excited to read that, and I felt so seen. So thank you, R. KUANG, for that, because that was awesome. I'll put you as 4 stars on both platforms now.
Yes.
Okay, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah. I was gonna actually convince you after the episode to just put it to 4 stars.
I'm putting it 4 stars. It's going to 4 stars. Okay. Anyways, if you have any recommendations for next month's book club, be sure to leave those in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about today's episode in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, leave us a little review.
5 stars, maybe.
5 stars, perhaps. We are trying to put out more content on all of our social medias, so keep up with those, keep up with our personal ones. And yeah, that is it for me. If you guys want to recommend a friend to our book club on Fable, you will get a $5 credit towards a book purchase on the app. Anything else?
I think you covered it. You killed it.
I
just can't believe I just said I want to shit my pants and then said, oh my god, we
you.
forgot to talk about Crohn's. So I'm just sitting here and reflecting on that.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I can't believe we didn't talk about that. I can't express how happy that made me. Yeah, so that will wrap it up. Thank you guys for spending your Friday morning with us, and we will see you next week for another episode of
Let's Talk Literature. Bye.